Agut moed Raboisai. Nishmas imi marosirus was Mordechai. Welcome. Agut moed. Thank you for learning Torah on Chalamoyed. Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for not falling off the daf. All you guys out there in the Pesach programs all over the world, Yishkoyach, keep on sending those pictures, keep on sending the emails. I want to remind the Olam to say Sfiras HaOmer. In Chutz La'aretz, it's 5 days in the Omer. Hayoim, Chamisha Yomim, La Omer, or Ba Omer. Yishkoyach to the sponsor of today's Sfiras HaOmer. You can sponsor the Sfiras HaOmer if you want. The Refuahs had the Mor Vision Shlita, Kvoid Dushas Mor B'Yisrael Ben Leah Esther, the Refuah Shleima. You can go on mdydaf.com and sponsor. Rabbi Yisai, check this out. Yisrael Lichter, smack in the middle, wasn't able to get to the actual Kaisel. It's closed down for most people, but he tried to get as close as possible. He goes every single week on Friday. Here he is. Now I know who the other people are. Okay, I got it. It's his brother-in-law to his left, the second from the left, and it's what's his name from England? I forgot his name. Oh, Reb Joey, Rabbi Yisai, check this out.
I get bargain Rebelli!
Rav Remo.
Good morning, Rabbi Yisai.
Good morning, Rabbi Yisai.
Eli Baruch Levine here. I want to wish you a Chag Kosher V'Sameach. So much Abatzas Torah coming from base Rav Eli Stefansky. So have a beautiful Yom Tov, you and your family, and Chag Kosher V'Sameach.
Yishkoyach Baruch Levine. I love you. Gewaldige stuff. Okay. Yishkoyach, that was a surprise, Grada. Thank you. Whoever arranged all the stuff, the consortium, maybe Mark, it's the consortium. Yishkoyach. The official edition of MDY Shas, Rabbi Yisai. I just have to say that it's Erev Yom Tov right now, and I gave a shir, probably it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. Mark was on 2 o'clock. And now we have to do 3 shiurim before Yom Tov so that everybody's all caught up, especially those living in Eretz Yisrael who don't have a second day Yom Tov, and they're going to be wondering where's the shir. So we're hustling to get out as many shiurim as possible, sleeping very little, and Be'ez Hashem Yom Tov will catch up on the Z's. So yishkach to everybody for understanding. Here goes the official edition of the MDY Shas, Masechta by the Iranian Levi families, the Perek by Anonymous with gratitude to Hashem. Official edition Shas, the Daf, Pei Zayin, the Averik family with gratitude to Hashem for success and good outcomes. Amen. Masechta sponsors David Salman, dedicated in memory of Avi Moiri, Reb Shmuel Baruch Ben Reb Chaim Tzvi Doiv. The Masechta is sponsored by Joel Gedalius, Leading Nishmas, my father Jack Gedalius, Anonymous Hatzlach Baruchnis Ubegashmias, the Palchik family foundation, Lezich Nishmas Harav Agoyin, Reb Shlomo Palchik, the Meshach Seilui, Anonymous Refuah Shleimo, LeMoshe Ben Yizoha, Anonymous for a complete Refuah Shleimo and Arichas Yom Talea Bas Esther, Yisrael and Malki, Totally Taras Picham Malti Zov, Chesav, we're so proud of you, Yaakov Mordechai, keep steiging, Sending Girls and Family, Canvey Island, UK, in honor of Rebelli, who changed my meaning of life, Tony Almoni, Yossi, Mark, and Benny, and all the Iskim B'tzorchem Diwai, Akash Baruch Hu Yishalom Scharim, Ari Simon, the Refuah Shleima, Avi Mari, Baruch Bemirim, he's a monthly sponsor. The weekly sponsor is in honor of Mark Ashkenazi. Thank you for your constant generosity and giving of your time, particularly today on Erev Yom Tov. Your efforts are greatly appreciated by all who watch the shir, the consortium. It's not understood by itself, they say in Hebrew, is the lo muvan me'elav. In other words, a person will sit there and run 3 shiurim on an Erev Yom Tov, and he doesn't get much out of it. The Olam knows, they already know who Mark Ashkenazi is, but it's different. He's behind the scenes. MDY art for the month, Refuah Shleima, Yehonatan Itam Ben Basheva Bracha. I said he came to visit me. I didn't see him in the Bismarck for a while, but he came to my front door. He just wanted a hug. I gave him 2 hugs. He should have a Refuah Shleima, a Refuah Shleima, Mordechai Ben Esther. We love Mordechai Ben Esther. He should have a Refuah Shleima B'Karoi, a complete Refuah Shleima. The Refuah Hayela Daniel Zev Ben Ayelet Esther. Rabbi Yisai, here we go. We're holding by a brand new Mishnah, Daf Pei Vav Amud Beis. Again, HaKadosh Baruch Hu had Rachmanis on the Magidi Shiur of Daf Yomi. This year, the Dapim have been relatively easy and gishmak. And so Be'ez Hashem, we have another easy gishmak. Dav, I want to tell the Olam, I was asked to tell the Olam that YouTube released an AI version that anytime I say a yeshivish gishmaka kol karbonis hatziba perek chi menachos kind of a word, it changes those words into something completely different. It sounds weird. So if you're hearing different voices coming out of my voice, change the setting. There's a setting that you could change and it won't happen anymore, especially if you're listening to Hebrew shir or something. It's going to be unbelievable what the AI try to do. It's not very successful. There's wine, libations. You could even bring a carbon of wine, just wine, but you bring it together with shlamim, with the oil. Where do you get this wine? Kiduchayim va'atulayim, 2 places. Alpha liyayin. It actually rhymes. Kiduchayim va'atulayim, alpha liyayin. Alpha is the alpha male, the alpha, the number 1. Shnia lahen, base Rima, base Lavan Bahar. The second on the list is from Rima and Lavan Bahar. Ukfar Signo Babika, and from a place called Signa in the valley. All lands. We once had all lands, and I said before, all lands in the first Mishnah was, when it comes to the Shtei Alechem and the Oimer, was only from Eretz Yisrael. So Kol HaArotzis doesn't mean all lands, it means all cities. Now it means all lands. You could get French wine, you get Italian wine, Spanish wine, it's all good. It was better to bring from here. Do not bring from a fertilized vineyard. It doesn't taste good. Or a vineyard that needs irrigation and cannot depend solely on the rain. And there are vineyards that different things are planted between the vines. Beheter, not kilai hakerem, but beheter. Do not use that. Vimhevi, but if you did bring from such a vineyard, kosher, it's okay. Emevim halistion. Now remember, halistion is going to be grapes that were completely ripened by the sun, so they're super sweet, not good wine. Vimhevi, kosher. And if you brought it, b'diavad, it's kosher. Ein mevim yashan. So this is going to throw everybody for a loop. We all know that aged wine is better than regular wine, not for the Beis HaMikdash. If it's more than a year old, no good. Divrei Rebbe. Chacham say it's okay. So this is the Gemara is going to ask a contradiction because we said before, halistion is masoy. You don't bring sweet wine, and not smoked wine. The Olam is very into the smoking. A lot of the guys that understand meat, like Hil Kamiansky and Benny and Shmuley Wasserman, these kind of guys, they have smokers. They smoke their meat. That's great for meat. Basar v'yayin, but not wine. Why not? V'lo mevushal, and not cooked wine. So today, mevushal is a big thing. We cook the wine, we bring it up to a certain degree, and then bring it down so that there's no problem of yain nesach. So mevushal we're familiar with. Vimhevi, and if you bring mevushal wine, you bring smoked wine to the Beis HaMikdash, pasul. So pasul includes even the very sweet wine. It's pasul. Ve'mevim min hadoliyos, and you don't bring wine. Here we go. So first of all, let me show you this, and then I'll go back. Hadaliyos means hanging vines, hanging grapes. You want them to be elo min haragliyos, from the feet. It's like a foot, the ones that are touching the ground. Let me just show you this for a second.
So young, so young.
It's too old. Yes, it's not red enough. Very beautiful. This is what a young wine looks like.
Yeah, you see the nuances? You have like the average kind of guy, the Kyle guy, he can't afford anything but the new red wine that costs $30. And the wealthy guy that comes with the gift. And I have to say, Rabbi said, it's a great time for me to think. This year, I received over 25 bottles, but really expensive bottles. I'm talking about bottles in the $200 range and up. 25 such bottles. So I had a great yontif. I opened up a bottle basically every su'uda on Chol Hamoed. The Olam knew, if you want to have simchas yontif, you come to my table. I went around, I was generous. Why not? 25 bottles. Yishkoyach to the Herzog family for sending a whole case of very expensive wines, excellent wines, bemis. I particularly liked, I'll tell you what I liked, the 8. It has an X and then, no, it's a V, sorry, V and 3 I's, so that's 8. Generation, it was a beautiful, it actually looks nice, but it tastes gewaldig, I like that a lot. And then somebody sent Katzrin, Yarden Katzrin, and then another person, what's his name? The guy that sent me 5 bottles in that case, I showed them. But one of them was Yarden Ram, which I really liked. And the French wines, I don't even know. Kiwi Nuzbem. Yeah, Kiwi Nuzbem. Shkoyach, Kiwi. Shkoyach. I appreciate the older wines. I don't know about the Mishnah. The Mishnah doesn't like the older ones. I love them. Shkoyach. Seriously speaking, no need to send me wines. Be'emes, please, next year, Abba Renner, every year he sends me 2 expensive bottles. Lo tzarich. I have so many. B'li hayin hara. Bring me another guy to learn Torah, I'm not joking here. 25 bottles, Hashem Yirach. I'm going to have to schlep some back to Eretz Yisrael. That's what I'm going to do. All right. And then somebody sent me, who was it? Do you remember? Oh yeah, Arnon Aronov gave me the Castel Magnum. And Shmulik Wasserman, 3 Castels. One was a 2004, 2016, and 2021. Beautiful stuff, mamish, beautiful stuff. By the Seder, I'm not going to say which bottles, I don't want to insult anybody, but by the Seder we opened 4 bottles. We were tasting every kois, we did a different bottle. And the Olam really enjoyed, so Yishkoyach Galamoid. Okay, thank you. Where are we? Yeah, so the Mishnah says no good. Let me just make sure I have all the videos here. Oh, that's coming up. Great. Umin hakromim ha'avudim. You should bring wine from for the miraglios. The grapes are on the ground, but also from the vineyards that are worked upon, that they cultivate them twice a year. I'm going to see in the Gemara. You don't put them in large barrels, in those magnums, in the large barrels. You put them in the smaller jugs. You don't, if you ever notice, there's always room on the top. You don't fill up the wine all the way to the top because you want it to have some air space in the bottle, to have some aroma, and then when you open it up, it pops out. And it may be mipia. You don't take from the top mipnei hakmachim, because of what looks like flour, which means a mold. Here it is, this mold on the top. V'loy mishulel, don't take from the bottom of the barrel mipnei hashmarim, because of the sediments that settle on the bottom. Everybody knows when you pour some bottles. I didn't really have it over here on Yontif, but sometimes you pour a bottle and you have sediment on the bottom, and it gets into your wine, and you don't really like it that much. That's not what you put in for the Beis Hamikdash. It has to be clear. Elo maybe mishlisho me'emtza. You have like a faucet in the center of the barrel. Shot exactly where it is, but in the third of the barrel, that's where the top is no good because it has the kemach, the mold. The bottom is no good because it has the sediments. You take from the center. How do we check the quality of the wine in the Beis Hamikdash? Hagizbar, the Gabbai, Yoishev HaKana B'yado, he has a reed, Zorek Hagir, once the bubbles, the white bubbles start coming up, the mold, and then that sort of stuff. Hikish bakana, he whacks, he makes a sound with his stick. Stop pouring. Enough. The Gemara is going to say, why didn't he just say stop pouring? Why does he have to hit something? The Gemara is going to say because sound of the voice could ruin the wine. Not good for the wine. Rabbi Yehuda Omer sheyesh boy kemochim pasol. If you have any of this stuff on the top, get rid of the whole barrel. We don't want any of it. Shenemar tmimim yiu lochem u'minchasam. The mincha should be complete. Tmimim yiu lochem v'niskeyem, and also the wine should be complete. Any wine that has mold, do you want to drink? Oh, it's just on the top. The top layer has mold. I'm not interested. I want a nice, clear bottle. Daf Pezayin Amud Aleph, we're holding by the Gemara. Do not bring sweet, cooked, smoked wine, and if you did bring, it's possible. As the Gemara of Aktani Reisha, it says in the Reisha, and I pointed it out, do not bring the listion. Why can't you bring the listion? Because it's sweet. Maybe kosher, but after the fact it's kosher. You just said if you bring sweet wine after the fact it's possible. Omar Ravina Kurei. So simple pshat in both Rashi's top bottom that you take the two and you put them together and you say listion and sweet wine is no good. You must say it's a little bit of a doichak because in the Mishnah it says it's okay. No, we're going to put both of them and say no, both of them are not good. Rav Ashi Omar, let me try to fix the doichak over here. He says no. In fact, they're not both the same. One is kosher and one is not kosher after the fact. Chulya the shimsha, when it sweetens through the sun, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not a disgusting grape. It's a great grape. They make the best wines in the world from it. Just that it so happens to be, it sat in the sun a little bit too much. The sun hit it from a different direction. The sun is what gave it extra sweetness. It's not a disgusting wine. Chulya the peira, but when the sweetness comes from the actual species, what's the word I'm looking for? Variety of grape. The entire variety is a sweet variety. That's disgusting, so to speak. We don't want that type of grape. We want a nice red grape, whatever it is, the Savion, whatever it is. You give me some Schwache grape from Mexico, not interested. It's a Mo's grape. If you have the Savion, the Merlot grape, and the sun hit it a little bit much on the side, and that's why it's sweet. No. But that the whole, I'm looking for a better word, not variety, not the min, okay, you know what I'm saying. Zog the Gemara. Not the blend, no, blend is two types. Okay, weiter. Rebbe says you can't bring older wine. Let's get into it. Why not? My time of the Rebbe. Why not? It says by Rish Chodesh. La keves yayin. It says those two words together: the sheep and the wine. Ma keves ben shnasoy, a sheep, as we're going to see soon. Also, a sheep is a year old. A ayil is 2 years old. A sheep is a year old. Afyayin ben shnasoy. So too, wine has to be a year old. As the Gemara, if you're going to compare it to a sheep, ma keves ben shtei shonim possible. A sheep when it's 2 years old, it's completely possible. Afyayin ben shtei shonim possible. If you tell me, yeah, wine that's 2 years old is completely possible, not after the fact, but it's possible. It says mufurish that if you have wine that's 2 years old, don't bring it. Vimhevi kosher. It's not possible, it's kosher. But if you're comparing it to sheep, it should be possible. And who says that you shouldn't bring it? Rabbi. It's kosher. It says in Pasuk, don't see the wine when it is red. When is it the reddest? It's red when it's a year old. As soon as it switches ages, it starts becoming less and less red, more and more brown. When it's red in its first year, that's when it's the most desirable, it's the most tasty, it has the best taste, and we're concerned, the Pasuk is concerned that you're going to drink too much and you're not going to know how to differentiate between right and wrong. You might do silly things. Because of this pasuk, Alteri Yayin Ki Is Adam, because of this pasuk, This is the reason why on the Seder night we are makbid to drink red wine and not white wine. Now, what about on Shabbos? So I had an argument with a big Talmid Chacham here in the hotel. I couldn't believe it because this guy knows his stuff. He's a very, very big. He's a Talmid Chacham, knows a lot of things by heart, and and he was making kiddush Friday night. Was it Friday night? Yeah, Friday night. He was making kiddush on white wine. So I asked him, "My hi," because we share a lot of the same ashkafa. He's also a gronik, etc. So, if he comes from a different background or whatever, he comes from a very similar background as mine. So I asked him, he says he doesn't think that you have to drink red wine on a Friday night. So I sent him this morning, the Mishnah Berurah in Taf Reish Ayin Beis. The Mechaber says you could do on white wine. He brings the Ramban that says it's completely possible, white wine. Completely possible. But we don't pass like him. It says the Mishnah Berurah that it is better to use red wine on a regular Shabbos. And basically, this is the pasuk al teri yayin ki yisadam. And not surprisingly, I mean, I was a little shocked because what do you expect when you send somebody a Mishnah Berurah like that? Yeah, but the Chayyim says this, and the Aruch Shulchan says that, and my Elta Zayda did this way, that way. He's like, I didn't realize that. Okay, I'm going to start doing red on the spot. Zok the Gemara. Ein meviin loy min adaliyos. You shouldn't bring grapes that hang like our grapes today. They hang. We don't let them go on the floor. Tana kram avudim pamayim b'shana. You should have vineyards that are cultivated with a hoe. You take that tool and you soften up, you loosen up the dirt underneath the vine twice a year. Aerate it, give it a little ear, whatever. These winemakers, they know what they're doing. They need a lot of air, a lot of sun. It's a whole. Rav Yosef had a Haveli Karna de Pardeso. Rav Yosef had a corner of a orchard, of a paradise. The Rafik Beit Fei Rivka, he cultivated the ground more than everybody. Va'avid Charman, in fact, it produced wine, the Dori Mayo Al Chad train. Typically speaking, in the time of the Gemara, they would do meziga. Meziga is to dilute the wine. The wine was way too strong. So they would typically put 3 parts water, 1 part wine. Here, let's just see. They would dilute it. There's also another way to drink water because the water wasn't sanitized, so they would, kill it with alcohol. Rav Yosef's wine was so strong because he cultivated the land double that it produced double amount of wine. How? By being able to add double amount of water. Double than usual. Usually it was 3-1, now it's 6-1. Says the Gemara weiter, they wouldn't gather the wine in larger barrels. Tana chaviyos, these smaller barrels, kadiyos, ludiyos, beniyos. These are really the same as a kad, as a jug in lud, a medium-sized jug in lud. You wouldn't put the two next to each other like this because if this one is spoiled, the aroma from this one will go and climb into the other one. So they would distance them 1-1. Elachazachas, they would store them 1-1, not next to each other. Keitzad boydek, we said, how does the shamash check the wine? When it started bubbling, the foam, he would bang and say, stop pouring. He wouldn't say it, but that's what it meant. Stop pouring. When the sediments start pouring out, Gizber Hikish Bakana, he would bang with the stick. Ask the Gemara of why didn't he say it with his mouth? So it helps and proves Rabbi Yochanan right. We know that in the Beis Hamikdash, when they made the psamim, For the Ketores, they would say Hodek Hetev. They would say these words because it was good for the Psalmim. Kach dibur ra liyain. So too, speaking is terrible for the wine. Perhaps you could say that there are times that it's good to speak, and there are times that it's really bad to speak. There are times it's good to be quiet, and there are times it's really bad to be quiet. If you're going to give somebody a compliment and build him, so it's a great thing. You did a big mitzvah. It doesn't cost much. Built up a person. But at the same time, that's talking to psamim. That's to infuse a beautiful smell. It's the right thing to do. But talking at the wrong time, talk when there's wine, you ruined it. You killed it. And the same thing with shtika, Rabbi said, the same thing with shtika, it's hard. It's not a chachma to be quiet when you need to say something. When somebody's insulting somebody else, to stick up for him, to say stop, I'm a big tzaddik, I'm just going to be quiet. No. Sometimes somebody reads the shidduch and you know that person is not whatever. There's something really wrong in the shidduch. So it's a mitzvah to say something. You're not a tzaddik for not saying something. Of course, within the right halachic parameters. But so you're going to start saying no. I know people that say no. It's always asur. It's lashon hara. Not true. Not true. If you're going to save a person's life because this shidduch is a terrible shidduch, because you know something about the person that it's going to destroy the other person, it's a mitzvah to say it. So shtika in that case is mamish asur. The shtika is killing somebody. On the flip side, sometimes you're quiet, you don't say something, and you save the world by being quiet. So that's what the Gemara is saying over here. Sometimes dibur is good for the psamim, so sometimes the dibur is raliyayin. Depends on the situation. The same tool could be great and could be terrible. Rabbi Yosi bar Rabbi Yehuda Omer. So now we have 3 questions. Boy, Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yehuda said that if there's a little bit of kemach, there's a little bit of mold on the top, get rid of the whole barrel. Boy, Rabbi Yochanan, maybe I jumped at there's 3 questions. This is the famous question that we had at least 3 times, probably 4 times already. This is the 5th time. I'm not counting, so I might be off. But it says, we just said that according to Rabbi Yosi, the wine is no good, get rid of the entire barrel. What happens if you decide to donate this $10,000 barrel to the Beis HaMikdash? You're a big tzaddik, no? Maybe you should get malchus. You're not a tzaddik. Why? Given the psul kibalmum, dami. Since if there's a psul, it's similar to being a balmum, and a balmum, we know if you donate an animal knowingly that has a blemish, you get malchus. Perhaps the whole idea of balmum is only by a behema. Take it. Ton rabbanon. I got it. Elim, if somebody donated rams, which are 2 years old, you bring them from the best place in the world to get a ram, mayav, mimayav. Kivasim, if he donated a sheep that's only a year old, mechevrain. Agalim, where do you get, not veal, a baby cow? No, ay. This is what happens when you're tired. Calf, thank you. You're quick. A golem calf, you get it from Sharon. Gozalois, how do you call that thing that has wings? It goes like this? Yeah, I know it's a bird. Gozalois maramela. Excellent, Mark. Excellent. Inside joke. Falcon. Beautiful. Great. We need some humor here. We need some humor. Get those birds from Haramelech. You're not going to believe this. You bring a sheep that's its height is as tall as its width. What does that mean? So check out this Taisus. Taisus says, Taisus Rabba. Oh, I see Kobe already doctored it since last night, because last night I just threw it in there and it wasn't so nice. He does the background and he did the underline. Ubebereshis Rabba Omar the Kvasim Shel Tamid the Hoyu Kolkach Gvayim, they were so tall. Sha'oichlem al Gabi Arozim, they're like giraffes. They eat from the top of the trees. You know, because Baruch Hu made a tremendous nest. You go in the safari. There are the animals that eat from the top. There are the animals that eat from the bottom, and the animals that eat from the middle. The giraffe doesn't eat from a bush that's 5 feet tall. It's too short for him. He eats from the 10-foot trees, 20-foot. And then you have all the gazelles that only eat the grass, and the wildebeest only eat the grass. Then you have the middle guys. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made it in a way that they could all survive in the same area. It's not like they're all eating from the same crop. It's beautiful. So these sheep for the Tamid, they were so tall, they would eat from the top of a cedar tree. And when they would put these sheep on top of a camel, the feet would drag on the ground. So a number of things I want to show you here. First of all, just understand the height of a camel, right? A camel is approximately between 7 and 10 feet tall, the top. So if you put a sheep on top, its feet are more than 10 feet long. Its feet are like 11 feet long because they're dragging. That's besides its body. That's how tall these sheep are. Now I got to show you another thing. I realized I didn't show you this. This is very important. This was 12 a.m. last night here what is this? Oh, that's when I took the picture. Sorry. Yeah, 12 a.m. I took the picture. It's on top. But I'm telling Yoshi, I said, go to sleep, basically. It's crazy. It's 4 a.m. So he writes, no, it's only 11 minutes to 4. And he was up much later than that. In other words, he pulled the all-nighter together with another artist, I believe it was Shlomo or Yael, I don't remember anymore, one of them. We'll give credit to them all. But they were up all night so that they could do the art for this daf, for Pei Zayin. Right before Yontav, he was up again, obviously, doing Peiches. And he told me, oh, it's almost, I heard the siren in the background. And he says, it's the siren. I said, yeah, I know. When he's finishing up a piece that shows the menorah in an interesting way, I'll show you soon. And then I wrote to him, I had the chutzpah to write to him. I said, we missed a great AI piece. The Gemara says that the sheep is on top of the camel. Chaval, we didn't do a piece. So he sent me a piece, mamish, right before Yontav. It probably took him a few minutes only, but where is it? Oive, it's not in here. Okay, I'll send it to Mark, and hopefully Mark will put it in. But for that, I think I have to. Let's see, where is it? Here. Maybe he was just trying to be funny. He didn't think it was a real piece because the front feet and the back feet are different. Okay. Zog the Gemara. We'll see it in 2 minutes. Omar Rava bar Rav Shilo, my time of the Rabbi Yehuda. What's pshat in Rabbi Yehuda? They have to bring these giant sheep. T'chsiv yira miknecha bayom ahu. In the future, the sheep will graze kar nirchav. Kar is a sheep, nirchav, very, very wide. Here we go. So Rabbi Yisai, if you want to see what he did here, I think it's a joke. Oh, he has a canteen. I didn't even notice that. And he has very, very long legs. But why does he have very short front feet? Like, nishta like geschmack to walk like that. You know what I mean? He's dying from thirst, and the camel is just enjoying himself in the desert. Okay, gewaldig. Excellent. Shkoyach. If I was in the base measure, we would be singing right now. Or some other niggin. On top of the wall that protects Yerushalayim, I stationed guards. All day, all night, tamid, all the time. Lo yecheshu. they will not be quiet. Hamaskir mis Hashem al dami lachem. Those who mention Hashem, they will never be quiet. My Amri, so what are these guards saying? That they're not being quiet. Hachi amar Rav bar Rav Shilo, Avad tosakum terachim tzion ki yeis lecherna kiva chalamayed. Atasakum terachim tzion. You shall, how do you say sakum? Not to stand up, to build. Terachim tzion. Have rachmanas, have compassion on Yerushalayim. Hashem will rebuild Yerushalayim. And before Yerushalayim was destroyed, what would the guard say? It doesn't have to be rebuilt. Hashem chose Yerushalayim. He desires to dwell in Yerushalayim. Hadron aloch kol korbanos hatzibor, hadron aloch kol korbanos hatzibor, hadron aloch kol korbanos hatzibor. Says the Mishnah, shtei midoy shel yavish hayu b'mikdash. There were only 2 measuring cups in the Beis HaMikdash. Now it doesn't mean there was 2 measuring cups total. There was 2 sizes. There might have been 100 of the same one, but it's the same size. What are the 2 sizes? Right over here. The Isarin, the Chatzi Isarin. Those are the 2 sizes. Now it's very possible there was 100 Isarins and 2-3 Chatzi Isarins. But the total types, the types were only 2. You must get to all measurements through these 2 measuring cups. There are 3. 2 types of Isarin, which the Gemara is going to explain. They're different sizes, but they're called Isarin. And a Chatzi Isarin, total of 3. Isarin, what would they do with the Isarin? Says the Mishnah, every single mincha needs the Mr. Isarin. It says in the pasuk, when it comes to the bull, when you bring a bull, you need 3 Yisroinim of flour. So they didn't have a 3 Yisroin vessel to measure that. So you would use the 1 Yisroin and you fill it up 1 time, spill it in twice. You do it 3 times. And the same thing for the ram. You need 2. There was no special kli that held 2 Yisroinim. You would have to use the 1 Yisroin kli. Ella, you would only measure it 1 Yisroin at a time. And what do you do with the second kli called the Chatzisar? We know the Kohen Gadol would bring 1 Yisar from home, and he would measure with the half a Yisar and half of the Yisar. He would use the Chatzisar measuring device for the morning mincha that a Kohen Gadol would bring, and for the afternoon. It says in the pasuk, Yisar, that's 1 Yisar. We say it, don't we say it every day in Chalamayid? Isarin. Yeah. What's the double lashon Isarin like keves or echad? There were 2 measuring devices called Isarin. Echad gadush ve'echad machuk. So he says the pshat is like this: the one on the right is lower than the one on the left. The one on the left holds an Isarin when you erase machuk. You make the top level. Gadosh, they both hold the same amount, but in different ways. The one on the left, you have to level out the top. The one on the right, you pile it up, and by piling it up, you get a full Isar. But the actual Kli is slightly smaller than the one on the left. Gadosh Abai, and why is that? Because the Torah says Isar and Isar. So the only way I understand to get 2 of these Israelim is by making them different sizes, but coming out with the same amount. The full one, the one on the right, I would use for every mincha. Daf Peizayin on base. And the one on the left, I would use for Chavidi Kohen Gadol. Since I have to move from place to place with it, I don't want anything to spill. It's also, since I have to measure half of it, it's going to be a different measurement. If it's piled up, heaved up. So Mela, I make it flat and straight. No, there's only one measuring device in the Beis Hamikdash. Shenemar v'isorin echad lakeves echad. It says v'isorin echad. There's only one measuring device. But I have a problem. Rameir has a very good taina. Why does the pasuk say that there was two? No, the rabbi is chatzi yisar. One is the full yisar and one is the half a yisar. Rameir chatzi yisar menale, and how did Rameir already uses up the yisar and yisar? So how does he know that there's something called a half a yisar? Nafkele me v'isar, the extra vav. V'rabbanan vav ledarshi. The Rabbanan don't hold that you can make a whole drasha and a limud of a new kli from a vav. V'rameir hayi v'isar nechad lakeves echad. My avalei Rabbanan learn from v'isar nechad. It says there's only one measuring device. It's called v'isar nechad. What do they do with that? Ahu shloimded loibishal shloishal apar v'loibishal shnayim layel. To teach us that when it comes to measuring the bull and the ram, you don't have a special device for that. You use the Isarin device. Rabbanan, and how did Rabbanan know that you don't have a special device for that? A three Isarin measuring cup. Nafkalu minikuda, because it says on top of the vav of the second Isarin has a dot. From that dot, the Sanyo Omer B'Yosi Lama Nokod Vav Shebeemtza Isarin Shel Isarin Rishon Shel Yom Tov Rishon Shel Chag. How come in Sukkot it has a little dot over there? Teach us from that that you don't have a special measuring device, or a mayor doesn't darshan the dat. What is this? Koela. Yeah, I know it's Koela. Oh, I have to do the turning of the daf. Turning of the daf. Sponsored by Koela. Adar Global, experts in cross-border payments. L'shadav.com. Please read the shidduch today, because every shidduch that happened was first read. Zog the Gemara. The Mishnah tells us that what do you do with the half Isar measuring device? That's for the Kohen Gadol. That's the only thing we use it for. As the Gemara Moeded, what he measures, the half, Vermini. The way it works is the Kohen Gadol brings an entire Isarim from his house. He can't go back in middle and take half. He has to bring it in one shot. And he divides it in half. But you don't need a measuring device for that. Omer Rav Sheish is not true. You do need a measuring device. After he has a whole Isarim in the device, now he has to take a half Isarim and measure it out. Simen Chatzi Chaviti Shulchan. So here the Gemara is going to ask three questions. So Rabbi Bar Chama asked Rav Chisda, I know that you said we had a machlokes. Rameir said that there's two Isarins, one is Gadish, one is not. Rabbanan said that there's only one Isar. Now, what about the half of Isarin according to Rameir? Is it one of these devices that it's a Chatzi Isarin up to the top, it has to be flat? Or it's only a Chatzi Isarin if you make it a nice mound? Says Gemara, why are you asking only according to Rameir? Says Gemara, I don't even know what Rabbanan hold with the real the larger size of Isarin. Does it has to be Gadish or not? I know according to Rameir there's two devices. But what about according to Rabbanan? Gadish hayom. That's why I asked only the half Isarin according to Rameir, because the full Isarin I have a problem even according to Rabbanan. Of course I have a problem. I have a problem both according to Rabbanan. The Rameir Nishma, the Rameir. I can learn Rameir to Rameir, and once I know what Rameir holds in a half, the Rameir Nishma the Rabbanan. Once I know that, then I'll know what Rabbanan holds. That what? Rameir Isar Machu. We know when the Kohen Gadol brings his chavitin, it should be an Isaron, a flat Isaron. So Mela, where do we use the Chatzi Isaron? By the Kohen Gadol. So since the regular Isaron it's flat, so Chatzi Isaron Nami Machu. So therefore, the half of Isaron is also flat. And once I know the Rameir holds it's flat, the Rabbanan Nami Machok. According to the Rabbanan, it's also flat. Why many Romi Bar Chom and Rav Chisda? So ask Romi Bar Chom. Chavita Kohen Gadol b'mem achalkim l'chalis. The Kohen Gadol brings 12 breads, 6 in the morning. Out of the flour, this Chatzi Yisard, he brings 6 breads in the morning, 6 breads, and half a Yisard in the evening, which is 6 breads. You have to be clean. How does he break it up? By hand or by vessel? Says the Gemara Pshita the biyad. Certainly with his hand. Dibekli tutani achnis. What, he should bring a scale into the Beis Hamikdash? I'll just show you for a second. Over here in the video, you see he does it by hand. Doesn't have a special kli. Says the Gemara, v'yachnes, let him bring a scale. What's the big deal? Says, no. Keeping the klala ksiv la v'yacharo. Where's this klala? It says in the pasuk in the klalas, where the Bakar gets the aliyah, nobody else gets the aliyah, nobody wants that aliyah. V'shivri lochem matei lechem v'afu eser noshim lachem echad. 10 women are going to bake their bread in one oven, and it's going to fall apart. It's not going to stick together. They're not going to know how to divide the bread. You're going to have to use a scale. So therefore, since the word scale and bread is brought together in a positive of curses, it's not nice to bring that into the Beis Hamikdash. Another question, Rabbi Chama asked of Rav Chisda, Shulchan Maushi Kaddish Kmotzim Bagoyde Shalai. Interesting lashon. But the question is very simple. Pretend this is the shulchan that we put here. Let's show you the real shulchan. This is the shulchan. It has a flat top, plus it has these like shelves to put the bread. But we just break it down to the physical, to the simple elements. We have a shulchan. We have a mizgeres. We have a nice decorative piece that's underneath. Because the mandama that says is on top. But in this case, the top of the table, like a regular tabletop that we have today, doesn't have a toich, doesn't have it inside. There's no walls on the side. So Mela does it have the power to give gedusha to the frankincense, to the levina? Because typically speaking, we put the levina inside a spoon, 2 spoons, 2 bezichen. Those spoons give the levina a gedusha. But over here, there's nothing what to give the gedusha. There's no walls. Why? Since it has the possibility to give gedusha to the bread, how does the bread become kadosh? By putting on the table. So putting the levina on the table should also give a kedusha. Or perhaps the chazi lemikadosh, only because bread is normal to put it on the table. It's not normal to put the levina on the table. No kedusha for the levina. So look, if you notice, the lechem hapanim has a very funny shape. Why is it funny? Because it's huge. These breads are huge. And they don't fit on the shelf. So what the Kohen Gadol would do, they would fold the breads over each other. So now it took up 2.5 tefachim. 2.5 times 6 breads, the 6 levels of bread, equals 15, right? Simple Parnavich math, the way I do it is, 2.5 times 2 equals 5. 5 times 3, because you have 6 breads, that's 2. 2 times 3 is 6. So 3 times 5 is 15. Did I just complicate things? Anyways, 2.5 tefachim times 6 equals 15. It gives kedusha all the way to the top of the top bread. Very powerful. Why shouldn't they give kedusha to the frankincense? So the So Mela should give kedusha to the frankincense that's all the way on top, or wherever it is. And if you say it's only 2 tefachim to all the bread, so 2 times 6 is 12, and it gives the kedusha all the way 12 tefachim top. You're right. It doesn't give the kedusha. 2, I wanted to do it under 50. minutes, but because I want to say the pshat correctly, it's going to be 50. 45 people live on YouTube. Wow. By the way, Bezer Hashem, in a few hours, I don't know how many, probably 3 hours or so, I'll try to give Daf Pei Ches. So if you're still on then, and you have time, hopefully you can join us before Yantav, so you get Daf Pei Chesed. But the others should remember to always learn Torah, even on Yantav. Even if you did Daf, of course, I know my good friend Mati Belsky is doing the Dapim now. I know he did it every Yantav, but he says he's going to do Chazara on Yantav. It's time to do Chazara. Always, every day should go by. Every day that goes by, you should learn some Torah. Omar Lei, I do have to say, Rabbi, I have to give a shukayach to my Aunt Rana, who set me up this year like never before. I got a great room to learn Torah in. Mamish, don't have to worry about people walking in and then just without me asking. She asked my wife, can I get Eli his own private room to learn in? And Mamish, I got a beautiful setup, so yishkoyach for the setup. You're right. The Levina doesn't have enough Gedusha that you should be able to put it on the Mizbeach. But it's enough Gedusha that if a Tvul Yom touches it, it becomes possible. And with that, Rabbi Isai, have a Gevaldik Yontif, have a good Moyed, have a great day. Thank you for joining. A good Moyed.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDAF.com.